Hello and welcome to a special episode of Sofa Senseis. You're joined by me, Kavan.
Me, Rash.
And listen, we've got a good guest today, yeah? Pro boxer, 5 fights, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Dom Felix from Northampton. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hey.
Boom. In person, in studio, on camera, audio, anything you want. You got it. Sofa Senseis on the akhi&saltfish digital network. Let's go. So, Dom.
Hold up. You just mentioned akhi&saltfish.
Yeah.
You cooking up something in the kitchen for me?
You know what? Unfortunately, this isn't catering, but the network is akhi&saltfish, but the akhi is akhi. So, if you're familiar with Arabic, akhi means brother in Arabic.
Yeah.
My guy here, Rachel, he's a Muslim. So, and I'm Jamaican background, so we bonded them both together.
Boom.
akhi&saltfish.
I like that.
That's our network.
There's a restaurant that I go to called Five Akis. Which is
Beautiful.
You know about Five Akis, yeah? Come on.
One of the best burgers, isn't it? You already
Trust
know.
me,
MK.
Five Akis is sick.
Best burgers. One of the best burgers. Shout out Yumas though. Shout out Yumas.
Yeah, shout out akhi&saltfish alumni, Yumas. But yeah, 5 Akis, they do their thing as well.
Yeah, they do, man. They do, man. I'm not going to lie.
If they want to sponsor the podcast, get in touch, akhi&saltfish@gmail.com.
Just give us food, no money, man. It's all right.
Right, so Dom, massive thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. I must say, Dom is probably top 5 easiest guest to get on. I DM'd him, yo, bro, love what you're doing. Do you want to come on? He's like, yeah, sure. When do you want to do it? Tuesday? Yeah, sweet.
Boom.
Easy.
Done.
No cancellations, no lateness. Bro, like, it was all very smooth and seamless. I think that's a good sign for the new year. Dom, I mentioned your record at the start there. Let's talk us through your career. So, 5 fights. What's your thoughts on those?
Should be 5-0 really. I suppose I'm going to make some excuses now, but the draw, that was down to training. I just didn't train properly. I took it for granted, and the situation I found myself in, it was against a journeyman. I should have knocked him out, and it annoys me to this day. But to be honest, he's back on the scene, so I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I should try and fight this journeyman just out of principle, just so I can fill him in. But yeah, when I took that fight, that was my second fight. He was actually quite a clever journeyman, and I opted to box that fight. And he was, like, I think it's on YouTube somewhere. You can see he kept dinking a shot over, and I just didn't really deal with it properly. I should have put more pressure on, and I should have got him out of there. But it is what it is. Off the back of that, I then went in to fight Dwayne Sinclair, who was, I think he was 8-0 at the time, and I was, 1 win, 1 draw. So obviously, ring experience, he had a lot more, and it was a 10-rounder.
Right.
So my third fight, I'm in a 10-round fight, but I knew that I could beat Dwayne. And again, this fight's on YouTube. You can see, I believe, skill set wise, that I have a higher IQ. The problem was, and the thing that I disrespected is, even though I feel like if me and him competed at 10 things, I'd definitely win 9 of them. But the reality is, he prepared better than what I did. I broke my nose in camp. So like in the second week of camp, I broke my nose, and so I never sparred the whole of camp. I was sparring a guy called Martin Frew. Watch out for Martin Frew. Serious guy. I think he's about 8-0 now, 7-8-0. Martin's a brilliant boxer. He broke my nose in sparring. I think this is before I used to wear a nose bar. I was actually having this conversation with Kieran the other day, Kieran Conway. And I said, he caught me with a shot, and I remember it. I was like, rah, what's that? And then we carried on fighting, whatever. We ended up doing 5 rounds. Done. Got out. I looked in the mirror, and my face looked different. Because I see the blood. I was like, oh, right, because I don't usually bleed. I'm like, I'm bleeding. And as I looked closer, my nose was mashed up, and I was like, oh, God. I said, no, please, it's my face. Yeah. So I was shook, and then, it turned out my nose was broke, so I didn't spar the whole of camp. But due to, I suppose, my naivety, I was like, I'm not pulling out the fight. And really maybe coach should have pulled me out, because I didn't have any sparring, and it wasn't the kind of situation where you could go in without sparring. First 10-rounder inside of my third professional fight, and we had a plan. We were going to make him miss, which we did. We made him miss for 4 or 5 rounds, whatever. And then I got tired. Do you know what I mean? It was just one of them. And then 6th round, Dwayne put me down, caught me with a shot, got back up, put me down again, got back up, put me down again, got back up, and towel came in, and that was that. So fuming. So that was in my third fight. Fourth fight, I went back to Bethnal Green where me and Dwayne fought. Boxed brilliant journeyman Poochie. Poochie's been around the blocks.
Yeah,
had
man.
about 150
Is that the
fights.
famous one that you mentioned?
Yeah, he's famous. Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah. So boxed Poochie, beat Poochie up. And then I went into another 50-50 fight with a guy called Daryl Church, who was a boy. He was one of Steve Goodwin's boys. I was boxing on a Steve Goodwin show. So Steve I know Steve, but he still tried to he tried to mess me up a little bit. He did a couple of things that played certain things that they do. They play the wrong song. So when I'm about to walk to the ring, I got my tune and they played, bro, it's on YouTube again. They played some kind of rock and roll music. I'm thinking, bro, it's obvious this ain't my tune. Yeah. So I'm standing there and I'm like, Baz, this ain't my tune. But I already knew what was grinding because I knew that's how people move.
What was the song? When did
I don't know the song.
my
song. My song was. So I try to get a song made for myself. Generally, not a song made. I try and get what's the word? A blend.
Yeah.
So it was. I think at the time it was the intro. But my normal come out tune is Kano. P's and Q's. So then, it'll drop and it'll like,
imagine you're meant to come through this and you just hear, "Come outside."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but I was in a mental place where it doesn't matter what happens, I'm winning this fight today.
It's mind games, isn't it?
Yeah. So, because all that can mess you up. Anyway, me and Daryl boxed, beat Daryl. If Daryl had beaten me, he would have got a Southern Area title fight. He didn't beat me, but obviously because it was on my promotion or my promoter, I didn't get the Southern Area title fight. And then March 2020, we were due to fight for a Southern Area title eliminator, have a rematch. So obviously I was bang up for that. Training camp was brilliant. And then boom, COVID, done. End of story. So then, that was the last time I was in the ring.
There's so many things I want to pick up on there. First of all, I want to say we've always spoken about what our ring walk song would be. Yeah. And mine would be P's and Q's, 100%.
Come on.
It's that aggression. Someone has done
as soon as it kicks in. Yeah. As soon as it kicks in, you're feeling it. You're like, right, let's go.
We need to do an episode on that, on ring walk songs, by the way. Yeah. A few things I want to pick up on. You mentioned your second opponent being like a crafty journeyman. And actually, I don't think one thing we haven't mentioned before on Sofa Sensei's is what that actually looks like. Could you explain what a crafty journeyman does in the ring? Why they're a thing in boxing? Yeah.
So when you watch it on TV and you see a journeyman, and you think, oh yeah, my man's 1-0, 2-0, he's going to just blast him out. Yeah. But sometimes it doesn't really work like that. What people don't realise is, I've got a lot of friends. One of my friends got cleaned out. I ain't going to mention his name, so I ain't going to mash him up. But basically, he thought this was a game, yeah? And I knew he thought this was a game because he's quite big on social media and he was doing things with certain celebrities and then he was sparring certain people. And I was like, you think this is a game? But what you don't realise is these journeymen can actually knock you out. Because they're a man like me or you. They're there to do a job. But if they can see a chink in your armour, they're going to exploit it. You see it all the time. You see it certain times with fighters who are top prospects. And they go in there, they might be 5-0, 10-0, whatever. And then the journeyman's like, you're too rubbish for me to lose to. So let me just upset the apple cart. Wow. And that's what happens sometimes. Because you got to think, these guys, they've had 100 fights. They know their way around the ring. Do you know what I mean? Like Poochie, for instance. Poochie's won quite a few fights as of late. Yeah. Obviously, his job isn't to lose, but his job is to give prospects the experience to learn their craft. So
how many fights?
Just for the record, Lewis Van Pooch, he's had 13 fights, 152 losses, and 4 draws.
13 KOs.
13 KOs. 13 KOs.
Yeah, you said 13 fights.
Yeah, there is 13 fights, 4 KOs, 152 losses, 11 KOs. So in 152 losses, he's only been knocked out 11 times.
Yeah. Sorry, the maths weren't adding there, was it?
No. He said 13 fights. You mean 13 wins? So,
yeah.
You looked at me and I looked at you like, yo, this one is low.
It's on camera. It's on camera. No one can hide either. My bad, guys. Yeah. 13 wins. Yeah. 4 KOs. 11... Bro. 152 losses, 11 KOs, and 4 draws. There we go. Yeah. But, yeah... He's doing his thing. He's won 2 out of his last 4 and lost his last 2, but that's normal for a journeyman, and he fights regularly every week.
He fights.
I don't know how journeyman do it, man.
Boy,
I fully don't know how they do
for
it.
For me, nah, mate, I'm not. If I can't be excellent, I'm not trying to just.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, these guys get good money. You know, these guys can make £600,000-800,000 depending on the situation. But they make. If you're making that every week, it's a job.
Yeah.
You know
It
what I
is,
mean?
yeah, 100%.
But it's not a job that I'd want to do.
Yeah.
That that
But
version of it.
You think about it, the journeyman always started to want to be like the best.
Do you think so? Do you think the journeyman always wanted to be?
Yeah, if you look at most journeymen's records,
Check his early career. If you
Jordan Granham was a brilliant amateur. Jordan Granham as a amateur, he went 25-0. He'd won 25 amateur bouts.
Wow.
Do you know how hard that is to do as an amateur with the amount of robberies and you know the type of people you're fighting you don't know, etc., etc. But Jordan went 25-0 as an amateur. Turned over as a pro. If I'm not mistaken, he won 2. He won his first 2, but the problem is Jordan couldn't sell a ticket. So it gets to the point where it's like, this is long now, because selling tickets is long. So it's people don't realise how long it is. You have to plan it. You have to beg man for 2 free tickets. You have to beg people to come and do something that the majority of people don't really want to come and do. People come to watch. The people that I sell tickets to are not going there if it weren't to support me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, these tickets, especially now, they're not cheap. You know, it's £40 just to get through the door. So if I'm taking my missus out just to get there and get in, it's going to cost me £100, taxi and plus food, drink, It's an expensive, night out. So,
how important is it then being a ticket seller?
it's very important.
And
being
why?
being a ticket seller, right, could get you a world title fight. There's many, like, I'm not disrespecting Frank Buglioni because actually, we actually got on. But Frank Buglioni could sell a ticket. Frank Buglioni's dad, if I'm not mistaken, was a reputable businessman, and he used to buy a lot of the tickets. So then, and then sell them to friends or give them to friends. So Frank Buglioni would do like 500 tickets, 1,000 tickets, just like being 1-0 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So at that point, for Frank Warren, it's like, because it's a numbers game. It's about the numbers, And if you can't sell the tickets, you're going to struggle. And if you can't sell the tickets, nobody can really use you. And that's the problem. You've got to be able to.
I've never saw it on that point,
You know what's interesting? Because we're sofa senseis, yeah? So we watch things from this position. We're rarely ever in a live small hall.
Yeah.
We're watching it on TV. And to get to the TV, it sounds like a journey in and of itself.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating that you're giving us that insight.
Next time, definitely, we went to, what is it? Has it been like 2 months now? We went to the
I
last
think
fight,
it's November,
Nico and Dempsey's fight.
Yeah.
Next time we're getting VIP though.
Yeah.
I said that from
Yeah,
the get-go.
yeah.
It's a different experience.
It's a
It's
definite.
much better.
Yeah. You mentioned sparring as well, breaking your nose in that second week of sparring. What sort of conversations are you having, either with yourself, with your coach at that time? Is there still something in your brain that's telling you, I can win this fight, I can do this? Or is there doubt creeping? How was that experience?
I'm going to be honest, there was doubt because I knew I couldn't get punched in the face. It was a horrible, horrible pain. And but as a man, and I say as a man, I mean, I suppose more so ego wasn't allowing me, because I didn't realise, because it was only when my Brendan told me, Aussie Gervais again, he was a good boxer, and same thing, he went down the journeyman route, made himself some money. But it was only after when Aussie said to me, he said, you do realise you could have got that fight postponed, didn't it? I was like, no. Because like in my head, I just thought, if this fight goes, it's gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he was like, no, you could have postponed it because of the nature of the fight. Because it was a tournament. It was a 4-man tournament. It was me in it, Daryl Church, who I ended up beating later in anyway, Jordan Joseph, and Dwayne Sinclair. So it was a 4-man tournament. I think it was called the Summit Cup. So then the winner of the cup won a couple of grand or whatever, and and went on whatever. But so Ozzy said to me, he said, you could have got that postponed. I never knew that. So if I'd have known, I would have pulled out. But I forgot the original question. Sorry, what?
So when you're sparring and you broke your nose,
Yeah,
what are the thoughts
creeping
going?
down.
Yeah.
So the whole of camp, I was kind of like, I don't know what to do. So I'm not going to quit on myself. I'm not going to quit. I'm too proud to be like, oh, I can't do this. But there was a lot of doubt because I knew that I hadn't done what I needed to do to make me feel comfortable. There's certain times when you train and you know you've done what's needed to be done. Say like with the Daryl Church fight.
Yeah.
I knew I did the work. I knew I did the runs. I knew I did the groundwork. I knew I did the sparring. So I knew I'm going in there and you're losing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So the same thing with Poochie. I knew that I'd done the work, did the pad work, did the sparring, did the runs. With Dwayne, I did the runs, so I knew I was fit, but I knew I hadn't done the rounds, so I hadn't tested myself. So and for me, sparring is something I definitely need to convince myself that it's time to go to work, and that's just something I didn't get. I mean, the only sparring I got was 2 weeks out, so you got fight week, but the week before fight week on the Monday, I did a 6-rounder. Now I get why Baz did it. It was a lot of rounds to do in 2 weeks out from a fight, but the whole account I didn't spar, and then like I say, 2 weeks before, I did a 6-round on the Monday, 8 on the Wednesday, and 10 on the Friday. And the reason why I did the 10 on the Friday, because Baz just wanted me to know
you can do 10 rounds.
You can do 10 rounds. But it was a lot. It was a bit. If I'm honest, it was too. I see why he did it. I'm not knocking Baz at all. It was the best thing to do to keep me in that fight. But really, if I'd have known what Azeez said, I would have just been like, look, we're going to have to postpone this. Because when I watched that fight, I watched it the other day, I watched it over Christmas, and I was watching it thinking, I should never have lost that fight. And it is what it is.
Why did you watch it over Christmas? Is that of interest?
I'm a boxing fanatic. So literally and it's something that I'm planning on doing again. So it's like, for me, it's study. So I'm watching Michael bro, like over the last 10 days, I've probably watched 500 hours of boxing, or as many hours as I can get my hands on. Yeah, my missus weren't happy. Can we go out now? Let me just watch this round. All you've done is watch boxing.
So yeah, really fascinating to hear about. You didn't know that it could be postponed. Do you think there's an element of like scarcity in a boxer who was at your level in that career? So like, if I don't take this fight, I might not get another fight until who knows when. Like, it's not like, you've got regular fights, 3 fights a year, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Take us through that experience. How does that feel when you're not necessarily in control of your own career? What's that feel like as a boxer?
It's hard. It's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to stay in the gym. It's I suppose it's got elements of concern. That side of things is very difficult because you're only as good as your last performance, and obviously, like I said, off the back of that, my last performance was a draw. Getting on shows, there's so many things that you got to think about. Unfortunately, it's not just the training. If it was just the training, it would be easy. It'd be easy for me. When I say easy, that's not me being cocky or anything like that. What I mean is because I enjoy the work. So it'd be easy for me to do. It's the same as you guys doing the podcast. Not like, I've got to do the podcast. It's what you want to do.
And the admin is a different thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And getting people to listen to it is a different... Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. All the little moving parts. Getting people to listen to it. Getting people to show up on time.
Yeah.
Getting people to not cancel. Because the whole time, I imagine over the last... Obviously, we don't know each other like that. So... You're thinking, I've told him to come, but has he remembered, or is he going to say, I forgot, bro, got to go take the dog for a walk or whatever? Do you know what I mean? It's all these little things that people don't see, and it's the same thing with boxing. I remember my friend Leonard Lothian. Now, Leonard was a brilliant boxer. He boxed for England and stuff, and Leonard went on to be pro, and Leonard was outstanding. And I remember Brendan Ingle, before he died.
Legend. Yeah,
Brendan Ingle saying to me about Leonard, he's like, that boy should be a star. Because he was just that skilled. Everyone in the Sheffield gym thought he was amazing. But all of the moving parts, ticket sales, all of this, it acts against you. It goes against you in the sense that if you can't sell tickets, and Leonard living in Sheffield, but from Northampton, it's long. Because he's fighting in Nottingham. It's like people travelling from Northampton. It's like, I ain't got time for that. Do you know what I mean? Then paying 30, 40, 50 pound, whatever the ticket price is. And I remember seeing Leonard at a show. He was on I think he boxed on the card of Carl Froch, and I went to the show. Him and Paul David boxed on it. And I see Leonard, and this is before I was pro, and this is before I understood the game. And I was like, yeah, well done, mate. He won the fight, 4-rounder. I was like, how much did you get for the fight? I think he must have got like £1,500 or something like that. I was like, that's brilliant for 4 rounds. Because in my head, it's like, 12 minutes of work, you got £1,500. He's like, yeah, bro, but you got to think of the 3 months of work that I put in to get that. And then that's when it hit me, the reality of the situation. Like, right, people don't see all that. People don't see you.
See the moment, don't they?
Yeah, they just see the moment. They don't know that we still got a job during the day and then we got to go gym at night or whatever. I mean, there's certain times, again, with Baz where, like, with Baz, we used to train in the day. And if I'm honest, I prefer training in the day. But I'd have work at 6 o'clock in the morning, break from work, go to the gym, do the work, and then go back to work.
Damn.
And then work, and then have to go for my run in the evening. And it's like, all the work you put in, like 3 months, like every day you don't work, that's a day you're giving to your opponent. So there's certain times where I'd lie on my bed for like 2 hours, negotiating with myself. Say, it won't matter if you don't go for this run. And it's like, no, you got to do your 8 miles, mate. And that was part of our training camp that I worked with Baz. He would have a nice progressive run. So it'd be like 4 mile flat, 4 mile hill, 5 mile flat, 5 mile hill. So you progress. And, you know, when you know you're on them 8s, it's like, this is long. I've got to go run for 8 miles. And you've literally got no choice. Because if you don't do it, it's going to show up in the ring.
8 miles is no joke, you know?
I don't think I've ever run that.
No.
I ain't trying to run it again. But, yeah.
But you mentioned Baz. Is it Baz, your trainer?
Yeah, Barry O'Connell. Yeah.
Was that the London trainer?
Yeah.
Was that the most recent?
No, I'm with James Conway now. So James Conway at Shoebox.
Shoebox. How long did you train with Baz for?
I was with Baz 217 to 220. So I was with Baz for 3 years. The reason why I left Baz is basically because of COVID, because of my work situation changed, and I just weren't in London as often. Like back then, I had a flat in London, so literally I could get to Baz as and when, you know, any time really.
I want to take it back a little bit. So obviously we spoke a lot about your pro career so far. Amateur career, amateur background. What's your first foray into boxing or to combat sports?
So I actually started with kickboxing.
Okay, that's quite
similar
common,
to
actually.
Nico, isn't it?
Yeah.
Similar to Nico.
Yeah, Nico. Yeah, absolutely. See, I started kickboxing. I used to train with my dad. I still train with my dad from time to time now. But my first fight when I was, I can't remember, probably 15, something like that. And my first kickboxing fight. Had a few fights, kickboxing, but I always knew that actually I want to go into boxing. Moved into boxing, but I moved into sort of the unlicensed scene. So like I'd be fighting up and down the country, go to Nottingham, have a fight, whatever. And then eventually I joined the amateur gym. And I only had 4 amateur fights. But simultaneously as working with the amateur scene, the Queensbury Boxing League came up.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Queensbury Boxing League. No. Queensbury Boxing League was like a league that was on Eurosport. And it was his own entity, and you could win titles. So it was like
prize fighter almost.
It was kind of like a prize fight, yeah. And it was good. I won the belt on that. I won the Queensbury Boxing League belt, light heavyweight title. But yeah, I had 4 amateur bouts, and I was boxing at Dow Youth. That was inside the Grenfell Tower, ironically, when the gym was in there.
Is that George Groves and James Degale's gym as well?
So yeah, George Groves and James was there. Sparred George, sparred James. I sparred them when both of them were world champions, actually. But yeah,
what was that like?
That was good. Ironically, I always thought James was better than George. Yeah, I actually see James the other week.
How's he doing? Because I don't hear anything from him now. He's retired. I just see he's in IB for every week. That's what I see.
James James is a good guy. He likes to entertain himself. Let's say.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, I see him the other week. He was, it was good to see him. Had a little chat, whatever, and pleasant. But when sparring those guys was good, because when I sparred James, that was after I won the Queensbury Boxing League title, and he was getting ready for Lucien Boutte. And me being Southpaw, I spoke to Jimmy. Me and Jim McDonald get on quite well sometimes. I haven't spoken to him in a little while, but we got on quite well. Went there to spar, and I remember thinking, I'm here. Because I always wanted to spar James. So I watch him, and I think he got a similar style to me, Southpaw. Yeah, I want to spar him.
Yeah.
And first round, went out there, jabbed him. I was like, he's letting me jab him. Jabbed him again. Why is he letting me jabbed him again? I'm like, rah, I can actually just jab you, innit? Yeah. Now, James was an amazing talent, I would say. But I would also say he had limited boxing, what I call boxing IQ. And that's not me disrespecting him. I just feel like his natural ability was superior than his boxing intelligence. But I always favoured him over George Groves. Anyway, we sparred. You know, he finished the spar on top. I ain't gonna lie, he finished the spar on top. And then, anyway, I don't know, probably a year or something later, I got the opportunity to spar George Groves. I think I sparred George. Yeah, I sparred George twice actually.
What year was this?
What year was it? 2017. Yeah, 2017.
Pretty recent.
So yeah. So anyway, I'll go to spar George, and in my head I think, well, I did good with James, and I wasn't even fit then, so I'm going to beat you up. But George was hot. I thought, yeah, let me just jab you in your face. He just kept slipping. I couldn't catch him. I was like, rah, you're better. Yeah, and in my opinion, I feel like his, reversing what I said about James, his boxing IQ was far superior than James's. James is just probably a better athlete because I could not catch George with the jab. The first time we sparred. Second time we sparred, yeah, I knew what to expect. It was a good spar. It was a good spar. I can't remember who he was getting for. He was getting ready for the what's the travelling lad's name? I've forgotten his name now. He boxed John Ryder. Forgotten his name, but he's retired now anyway.
Jamie Cox.
Jamie Cox. That's it. He was getting ready for Jamie Cox. So like we only sparred the one time because my style obviously isn't like Jamie Cox. But yeah. So I think one of the best people I've ever sparred, in my opinion, Dion Juma. Lennox Clark was tough, and one of the nicest people I've ever, not nice in the ring, but one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. If you can get him on the sofa, get him on the sofa. Dan Azeez, our country man.
Bro.
Love Dan Azeez.
Oh, man. You know, George Groves has got a podcast now called George Groves' Boxing Club.
Yeah, did you listen to that episode?
Yeah, that episode was sick.
Yeah.
Dan Azeez, he's got a master's actually, you like him. He's got a degree in accounting and finance. Yeah. And he's got a master's in accounting and finance because he just didn't know what to do. He was boxing on the side. He recently just beat up Rocky Fielding.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think to Rocky Fielding? I don't know what happened. He's fell off a cliff.
Yeah. I think,
what
you know
hell?
what? Dan is surprisingly, like when I went to spar Dan, I ain't gonna lie, I was scared. Yeah, because I was thinking, right, I got no right to be here. These times he was British champ. Go to the Peacock Gym. Now, the Peacock Gym is in the middle of nowhere. It's
kind Lions in the Camp, is it that gym?
Yeah, that's where Tundi, I used to train with Tundi, but that's where Tundi used to work. Tundi ain't there no more. Okay. Peacock's moved since COVID. Martin Bowers, the owner of the Peacock Gym, he moved out near his house, but it's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, and there's a lot of sort of characters, let's just say, surrounded by that gym. So I went there, I'm thinking, I'm gonna die. Yeah. Anyway, I see Dan, and Dan coming to change. He's like, yeah, what are you saying, Dom? Come here with these big arms, yeah. And I'm thinking, right, he's gonna punch me in the head with them arms, yeah. I'm shook. I'm like, why? I'm kind of thinking maybe I don't want to spar, but Dan is because obviously at the time Dan, I think he'd probably won 12, 13 fights, whatever, but about 8 or 9 of them was by knockout. Now, ironically, Dan is not actually a massive puncher. It's weird. Like,
yeah, you can see it in his style.
Yeah, he doesn't. I thought he was just going to cave my head in, but it's not that. He's actually got a better IQ than you would think. I thought he was just going to be crash bang wallop, but actually he's very intelligent, and that's how he broke. Because if you look at all these fights, he'll stop the majority of the people on their feet because he'll break them down. He breaks people down, and that's his unique thing. And on the contrary, I'm gonna give Kieran a shout out. Kieran Conway can actually fucking bang. Yeah,
really.
Kieran Conway can punch, but because we was having this chat again the other day, because Kieran is so technically sound, he never puts himself in a compromised position.
He leans on his skills, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he can actually punch. I remember first time me and him sparred, I got in there for, I'm just going to move around and make him miss. And nah, mate, it came to me. It was like, and I said to him, bro, when you hit me, I was like, he's going to knock me out. Yeah. But I weren't thinking that. I was thinking, this guy can't punch, man. But then when he lashed me, he can punch.
What does that feel like? What does a hard punch feel like?
Feels horrible.
I've never felt one, you know.
Yeah,
you don't want to feel. It's no badge of honor, man. Just leave them there. If you can slip, dip, dodge, and dive or whatever it is, do that.
Run.
yeah, I'm out.
I might run 8 miles then.
Yeah.
Mad. You know what? You mentioned when you saw Dan Azeez. Maybe, I think you was joking, right? But I'll ask you anyway. That slight thought crossed your mind. Maybe I don't want to spar. Is that even, can you even say that? Like, is the boxing culture one where you can say, do you know what, I'm actually feeling inspired today? Or is it one where you sort of have to tough through it? Because I read Damage, for instance, and one of the recommendations pretty much is maybe gyms and the culture within gyms needs to be more accepting of a fighter who might say, do you know what, I've got a bit of a headache, I don't really want to spar today.
Oh yeah, that's spot on. Because it is, obviously it's an ego situation, because it's a fight, isn't it? It's like saying, I don't want to fight you.
Yeah.
Regardless of it being sparring, it's a fight. When the man there punching you, like I said, me and Martin get on well. Martin Frew is actually a model. He's a very handsome boy, yeah. When he hits you, he's trying to kill you. It's the end of it.
Mad.
You know?
You can't cancel on a spar. You can't
That's,
do that.
yeah, cancelling a spar is soft. You can't.
Man says soft,
Yeah,
yes.
soft, man. You can't. I mean, I tell you, someone who cancelled on a spar, me did my head in. What's that guy's name? What's this guy's name from Birmingham? He's fighting next week, I think.
What weight is he?
Super middle light heavy. Oh God.
Not Ben Whittaker.
No, not him. The other guy who's loudmouth. Oh, the Love Island dude.
Oh, Idris Virgo.
Idris. So Idris was gassing himself 2020. Yeah, any super middleweight, call me out. Da, da, da. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So I tagged him on Insta. I said, yeah, come, let's fight. And then he reshared it and said, yeah, get in the queue, man. Get in the queue. I was like, whenever you're ready, bro. And then I don't know what happened. I must have said, no, he must say, oh, maybe come for sparring. I goes, yeah, I'll come for sparring. And this is off the back of no train. I thought, yeah, I'm going sparring. One of my brethren said, he won't spar you, know. I goes, no, we're sparring next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were supposed to spar on a Wednesday. Tuesday came now. And then I get a message. Say, yeah, I can't spar anymore. And these times he's fighting in about 4 weeks maybe. I was like, oh, is everything all right? I'm a nice guy, innit? It's not really that. Was everything all right? He goes, yeah. He goes, oh, you're still fighting? Thinking that, oh, no, I'm injured. Da, da, da. And then he's like, yeah, I'm still fighting. And I'm thinking, well, why have you cancelled the spar, bro? Do you know what I mean?
Scared.
Yeah, but then it just made me think of what my brethren said. Because he said it. He said he won't spar you. And I'm thinking, no, of course, it's a done deal. But yeah, sometimes people do pull out spars. You see people get out of the ring sometimes. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? You know.
There's something about those Love Island boxers, though, because Idris's career has slowed right down since Love Island. I don't know what's happened. Tommy Fury's career slowed. There's no consistency in his career right since Love Island.
I don't know.
But they both have the platform to have that consistency, so they must just not want it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I think. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say maybe that's another conversation for another day. This is about you, so I don't want to take too much time.
No. I mean, I suppose it's relative to me because I've tagged them both at some point saying, "Come, let's fight." Obviously, Tommy's got his thing, and Idris has got his thing. I've tagged them both. Said, "Yeah, I'm ready to fight you." Tommy has let me down. Originally, I wanted Tommy to go to America and fill Jake Paul in.
Yeah,
but because he's bottled 2 or 3 times, I'm like, well, what is this, man?
Yeah. It's a joke.
Every couple of months, you get, no, I signed the contract now. I signed the contract. Oh,
what was the last one? Let's both fight for free.
Oh, just
stop all this. That's just straight from the Tyson Fury handbook. Like, stop all that. You're not Tyson Fury.
Exactly.
Let's move on. Anyway, this guy's
you know what? He stresses me out, man. Yeah. That's what my hairline's going a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what it's going a little bit. Because it's too much stress, man.
It is. It's stressful. It's like, just fight, innit?
I'm surprised his hairline's not gone through all that stress. He's doing it to himself.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's just fool. Like, bro, if you say something once, all right, maybe we'll let you slide. Twice, it's a bit convenient, but he's still chatting. Like he's
done something.
I don't get it. I personally do not get it.
I don't know how he's in the Fury family.
That's what I'm saying, especially when you're wearing the Fury name, innit?
Yeah.
Because you know the reality is, whether we like him or we don't like him, Tyson Fury will fight. He will fight anyway.
Yeah.
So will John.
Yeah, so will John. I'll fight you now.
I'll fight you now, bro. He's one scary guy, man.
Yeah.
He's massive.
But, yeah, the young, what's his name again?
Tommy
Fury. It's a joke thing. It's like, come on, mate. You can't keep talking. I want to see some action.
Yeah.
Every
you know what? He probably doesn't want to fight. He probably
this
just
is the
got forced
problem.
into
Sometimes,
it.
yeah. Sometimes when and especially he's got the social media side of things, because he's got that on lock to a degree. It's like he's going to be getting money from that, and it's like, well, do I want to risk my image? But for us boxing fans, it's like, well, you're ruining your image.
Yeah,
we can't take you seriously on that side of things. With Idris, though, in his defence, I feel like because of the Channel 5 situation, that's all changed over hands.
Yeah.
I feel like his contracts are probably up in the air. Because there's a lot of things that, like, happened to Andre Ward, like with Goose and Tudor and stuff, like where he didn't fight for 2 or 3 years. And we're like, why are you not fighting? And it's like, well,
You can't really say because it's legal and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. I didn't think of that actually. Boxing icons. I saw you the other day watching Michael, second to none.
Yeah.
And you said you hadn't watched him enough, and you wish
Yeah.
you'd watched him more. So I'm just thinking, who are your boxing icons? You know, if we're Sofa Senseis and we were going to go and sit down and watch some fights, you know, who would you recommend?
For me personally, I'm a cliche as it is. I'm a Mayweather fan. I'm a massive Mayweather fan. I love Mayweather. I think he's brilliant. I think what he did with boxing changed the game. He made people realise that you don't have to take all this punishment. Everyone kept saying, "Oh, he's boring. He's boring." It's definitely not. If you watch a Mayweather fight and you know what to watch for, he's a very aggressive fighter. He's always on the front foot. What most people deem as boring is he doesn't get hit.
Yeah.
But what we have to understand, and I always refer to this, Gerald McClellan, yeah? Most people don't check for Gerald McClellan.
Yep.
Think about how much he entertained us. But now, you know, he's not even able-bodied anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of the game. So what am who am I taking punishment for? You know, there's certain times I look at a hero, Mark Nunn being one of them. His Instagram following, he's got about 1,000 people. Yeah, he's got less than me and you. And you think, Jesus, at one point you were like the king of the ring. Yeah. But that's the reality of the world. There was a point where I looked for, who did I look for? I don't know if he was new to it, but Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed. And I had more followers. I don't know if it's the way now because I haven't checked it, but I had more followers than Apollo Creed.
Wow.
My point is, when people are done with you, they're done with you.
Is what it is.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I put myself through that just to entertain you when in 5 minutes' time you're going to care about me anyway? Like Mayweather now, he's just not relevant. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, he's trying to keep himself relevant.
Yeah.
But he's just not in the game. But yeah, Mayweather would be one. Fan of Terence Crawford, massive fan of Terence Crawford. Pernell Whitaker. Who else? Andre Ward, absolutely Andre Ward.
You like the Slicksters then?
Yeah, I like Slicksters. I think, yeah, for me, it's the art of, you know, boxing is a science. It's not an exact science, but it's a science. So, like, what does that mean? It means that there's, so long as you can create different ways to achieve the right outcome, there's no wrong way to do it. Providing you know, within the confines of the rules, which all of those guys fight within the rules. Me, you know, it's nice sometimes to have a scrap with someone. It really is. Like when you're in the ring and you have a scrap, but that takes something out of you.
What do you mean it's nice? What does that mean?
It's a fight, isn't it? It's like,
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So your man licks you lick him, and boom, 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 boom. And it's like...
It's crazy that I've never thought that.
It's just, you know, I mean, I had brothers, so it's like...
Yeah.
That's just normal. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's one of them. It's like when I watch my girl doing, like, watching hair cutting videos, I'm like, this is weird, bro. How is that entertaining? Do you know what I mean? But I'm sure, I know she thinks the same. She's like, oh, I hate your boxing. I'm like, it makes, like, for me, it's like, if you can't fight, like, well, look, I'm not, I have to hold that on back.
No, say it though. Say, I want to hear it.
Well, like, for me, it's like, you're supposed to be able to fight, innit? You know, like, you see these joke memes, like, memes, sorry, not memes, I always say memes. These joke memes where it's like, yeah, your girl loves you, but really she's mad that you can't fight. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a joke, but yeah.
You know what? No, I hear it though. I hear it. Yeah. I think
I ain't got the stamina, innit?
Yeah,
I'll probably get hit you like 2 times. And
But if you can do it right, that's all you need, isn't it?
Game over.
yeah. You know, we've got to go gym tomorrow, man. That's it.
I'm pretty stressed.
We've got to go gym tomorrow, innit? You got to cancel badminton, yeah. I've got to cancel swimming. We're going boxing.
Why do you have to say badminton? Why did you say MMA or something, bro?
Damn, yeah. That's some real stuff though, because, bro, remove our job titles, remove material things. If someone kicks in your house right now, if you can't fight, your spreadsheet ain't gonna save you.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing. All right, so you like the Slicksters. You mentioned Terence Crawford. Thoughts on this whole Errol Spence thing? Because I'm getting annoyed.
I'm getting annoyed. I'm with you.
Okay.
Because I'm worried now because Ennis Brown is due his shot, yeah? And I think Ennis Brown is brilliant. And actually, I feel like he can beat everyone. But I don't want to see that. I want to see Spence. Crawford, how are you going to do this again? Yeah. It always happens.
I'm
happened
nervous.
With Junior with a Ricky Hatton, happened with flipping Pacquiao, Mayweather. I mean, obviously, they got it on in the end.
Even Khan Brook.
Them man was 75 when they got it. Like, bro.
I'm really scared about Terence Crawford's age. Yeah, because he looked good against Abanisi, you can't lie. But
yeah.
How old is he?
He's still 36.
Do you know what, right? touching on age, I'm older than your average boxer, but I also know that if you live right, that stuff doesn't really matter. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I think about what I know now in comparison to when I was 21, it's significantly more. So actually, if I was to fight my 21-year-old self, the only thing my 21-year-old self would have over me is naivety, in the sense that my 21-year-old self would just keep punching. Yeah. Whereas myself now, I'd let you punch, and because you can only punch for so long. Do you know what I'm saying? Like anyone can only, and some people can keep punching. Some people can keep punching, but there's a lot of things when I look at how much I've learnt now and how much I know about boxing. It's not me saying, oh yeah, I'm amazing, but what I know, and things I can do in the ring with guys that are younger than me. It's like, I know you don't know that. You know, you can look at. I'll give you 3 names: Antonio Tarver, even Jack Johnson, Bernard Hopkins. Every single one of them, man, was over 45 when they finished. Yeah. Every single one of those, man, over 45 finished fighting top boys. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? They weren't like, I mean, Jack Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, was like 54 or something like that when he finished boxing, yeah?
That's mad, you know?
That's mad, bro. I only found that out when I was doing, like, the last 10 days when I was like, rah, Jack, because I was looking for Jack Johnson fights. So I sat down and watched some Jack Johnson fights. And it was just funny to watch, because obviously the style is completely different. It's obsolete now, yeah, them thin gloves. them man there fighting for 25 rounds and them thin gloves. You know what I'm saying?
The round system was mad then.
You mentioned B-Hop, legend.
Yeah.
Retired at, I think it was 50, 51, something like that. He's still world champion in his late 40s. Madness.
Won the world title at 50.
That's a different breed. But again, like you were saying, he lived right.
He lived right.
He lived very, very right. Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, so and keeps himself in shape now, which is always great to see. You're talking about these old fighters who no one really checks for now. It's always great to see fighters enjoying retirement and being healthy and all of that, because who do we see the other day? Who are we saying we're glad he's living a good retirement?
David A.
Yeah.
David A.
Yeah.
I'm glad Hayes still living a good retirement. He only retired a few years ago, but I'm glad he's still living good.
He's still doing Hayes stuff.
Yeah. He's still living like he's a world champ, right? But
Hey rates Gal, isn't it?
He's got 2 trophies with him right now, isn't
that's
it?
what I'm saying. Them Gal is type, man. He rate them things. So
and he's holding on to the cane roads for dear life, so he's doing his thing.
Ain't going.
I think he's selling like a workout routine now, isn't he?
Yeah, I got that, that
money must be a
vibe.
bit, you know.
Yeah, I see that.
But, I was gonna say, do you know how old were you when you turned pro then?
How old was I when I turned pro? You're trying to calculate my age.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about that. I'm older than Kieran Conway. Yeah.
So for you, being older than Kieran Conway, then was it a matter of like, did you weigh up turning pro? Did you think maybe I shouldn't do it? Maybe I should. What were the thought processes around going pro then?
If I'm honest, it was always something that I had to do. There was no choice. But it's also something that I was scared to do. Did believe in myself. Always lacked a lot of self-belief as an individual growing up. As I got older, again, adding to the age, you realise that actually, this you know, you got one life, you got stuff to do. Do you know what I'm saying? That's it, really. It was just literally I have to do this. I have to do. I used to go on to BoxRec and I used to pretend. I used to type my name into BoxRec and pretend that it would come up, and then I remember when I was in a fight and the guy was punching me in my face in these 10-ounce gloves, some thin gloves. And when he was punching me, I was like, why didn't you just turn pro? It's the same punches. Yeah. Because it's the same punches. But in your mind, it's like, no, that's that and that's that. The level's different. It is different, but it's the same punches. Do you know what I'm saying? All the, you know, top amateurs, they went through the amateur system and then became world champions and icons, whatever. But it's the same people. Do you know what I'm saying? It's all the same. Like the boxing fraternity, you know, I know a lot of people in it because it's quite small, really. You know, all the people that we'll see until like I'm mates with Spencer Fearon and like I say Dan Azeez and all these guys. Because when you get down to the nuts and bolts, it's just people, and there's only going to be so many people within it. Do you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, Spencer was really, really positive. He was like, Dom, really proud of you. I'm glad that you eventually did it. And, you know, you should be proud that they gave you a license later on in life, you know.
Yeah, let's talk about that process, actually, because that's something I don't think we've ever spoken about before.
How does it work?
Know too much about. You know, what does getting a license... Because the British Boxing Board of Control have been in the spotlight, I'd say, this year more than ever.
Yeah.
Before they were sort of a background figure, I didn't really think about them. But since Josh Taylor fight, Eubank Ben, all that sort of stuff, that people have been talking about them a lot more. So what's the process of getting a license like?
So the process for an amateur boxer is a lot more easier because I suppose the amateur scene is kind of like a funnel system. So if you've had X amount of amateur fights, it'll be an easier process. Whereas, like I said to you earlier, I only had 4. Yeah. And then they don't reckon. I mean, I don't know if it's changed now, but they never used to recognise any other combat sports like kickboxing or they just didn't really recognise it. So then my particular process was I had the interview in front of I think it was the Midlands Boxing Board of Control. And then because of my lack of amateur experience, they wanted to see me do a physical, what they call a physical. Now, because of laws, what they used to do back in the day is they would make you spar, like 3-4 rounds, like head and body spar. Now, they made me spar, but they only allow you to spar to the body for insurance reasons. Obviously, if someone gets hit in the head or whatever. So I did a body spar, and then I think I had to do about 5 or 6 rounds on the pads, and then I had to do a condition. They just wanted to make sure that signing me off, I was capable. They didn't need to see a world champion. They just needed to see that I was capable to protect myself at all times. People forget, and this is the best thing that Tundi ever said to me. He said, Dom, if you think about the science, if you think about, I don't know if you read the 4-Hour Work Week.
No.
Right.
I've heard about it though.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss became a world champion martial artist, having never trained martial arts, by looking at what I call the algorithm, by following the system that's been put in place. And he became, so basically what he did, I'm veering off a little bit, but I'll come back. What he did is, there's a mat in, I think it was, I can't remember, was it Japan or, I can't remember, I'm getting my martial arts mixed up. I think it was karate in Japan. So there's a mat that you fight on. Now, if a fighter goes off the ring 3 times, they're disqualified. So that's in the rule book. So what he did, he just basically essentially made the fighter come off the ring 3 times, every single time, to win the world and became a world champion martial artist.
That guy, what?
I don't know about that.
I'll fight him tomorrow.
I agree. Yeah. However, now let's put it into something that kind of works for you. If you can figure out algorithms that work for you, like Instagram, if people want to see press-ups, just do press-ups. You don't need to do squats because they want to see press-ups. If that's what the trend is, like, I don't know, using Instagram Reels, for instance. Yeah. Like, just get the tunes that people, and then instantly you get likes from people that you would never have got likes for just because you followed the algorithm. And it's kind of the same with boxing. I keep doing this. I've veered off so far that I forgot what I was
No, listen. I think you answered the question in that I was asking about what a license is, what the process is like. So we spoke about how they sort of tested you and the test in terms of sparring. Yeah. What else is it like? What other things have you got to do? So the physical is one thing.
Yeah. So the physical, and then also brain scan. So make sure again you're able-bodied and for safety reasons. Then you have a medical of a doctor. So you'll have blood and urine tests. Checking for hepatitis and whatever other disease. You'll also have eye test as well, and then you have to pay subscription and stuff and be licensed by the board, and that's pretty much it. It sounds easy, but it's a long winded. Yeah,
is it expensive?
It's expensive as well. It's very expensive.
Last couple of questions from me. What does boxing add? So Dominic Felix, the man now, not the boxer, but what does boxing add to your day-to-day life?
I think the most, you learn so many lessons in the ring, and I kind of like to live through those lessons, if that makes sense. So it's a very honest place. There's an old saying in boxing that once you step into the ropes, the truth will show itself, and it will. If you haven't trained, we're going to see. If you have trained, we're going to see. If you have done this, everything, you're going to see. And not only that, the only other person I've ever heard say this to me is Leon McKenzie. So Leon McKenzie was a footballer turned pro, good friend of mine. And he's the only other person that I knew to say that boxing is spiritual. So I'm going to see all of you. You can't not show me who you really are. So inside of seeing that, I might see a chink, like what Tyson used to say. That's what he was basically saying. It's like, got my eyes on you, and then as soon as you look away, I see it, because you have to put on this bravado. You have to pretend that, oh, I'm ready. But the reality is, we're all just human. There's certain things, I'm guessing, there's certain things that you might do that are you completely confident at. This is a combat situation where, you know, the worst case scenario, people can die. Obviously, that's not the most common thing, which is handy, but it's a very serious situation. So all of you needs to show up.
Damn. And you bring that to other areas of your life as well. You bring that to the most mundane. Do you know what, actually? A couple things. So I noticed today you posted the High Performance podcast.
Yeah.
They have an episode with Johnny Wilkinson. If you haven't heard it,
need to listen to it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He talks about bringing all of you to all things. So, you know, he won the 2004 Rugby World Cup, and he was saying, you know, for a long time, he wanted to just be known as the guy that won the 2004 Rugby World Cup, which meant that any other team that was in the World Cup, he wanted them to lose. Any other England team, he wanted them to lose, because he wanted to be the guy that won. And if the more teams that win, the less important you become.
Yeah.
And then he realised, actually, by spending all his energy on that, first of all, it made him bitter. But second of all, it meant that little things like spending time with his kids weren't as important as winning the World Cup. And then he realised mentally he has to be, when he's washing up the dishes, that has to be the most important thing in his life right now. Be there, be present, put all of himself into it, because that is as important as, well, now is as important as ever. You're never going to get the past. You might not get the future, but now is the most important thing. And he talked about that shift in his mindset and how it made him present and improved his life. So really interesting that you mentioned about being all of yourself and bringing all of yourself both to sport and your personal life as well. Does it get tiring?
Yeah, it gets tiring. Bringing all of yourself. Because I feel like I say, it's an honest place being in the ring. So I feel like honesty is a very important thing for me. Right. I'm a very honest person, if that makes sense. Yeah. You'll know parts of me that I don't even need to share, and you don't need to know, but I'll still give it, because it's like, well, I just feel like that's how you have to be. Yeah, because boxing, you can't pretend. You just can't pretend. Like I said, with some of the people I see get cleaned out, one of them I was like, yeah, I'm glad you got cleaned out, because you thought this was something they ain't. Yeah. This is a real place. Like I said, them journeymen can knock you out. And yeah, being present to all things is exhausting. It's very difficult, and I don't always get it right. Yeah. You know, you don't always get it right. You know, with my kids and my partner, my girlfriend and stuff, it's a lot. It's exhausting. It's tiring. Yeah.
Final question from me. This book over here, Rachel, Damage. By Tris Dixon. It touches on a lot of important topics that I think we often overlook, both as Sofa Senseis, but also as people who participate in the sport, I imagine. Does it ever cross your mind about the damage that other fighters have taken, the damage you might be taking, when the right time to step away? You know, any of these things crossing your mind? I get the sense that because of your style of fight, you're quite aware of it anyway. You're not a brawler. Yeah. But equally, I think when you're in the sport, you've got to be all in, right? You can't be 1 foot out, 1 foot in. So you understand the risks and you deal with that. But what are your reflections on damage and the notion of damage within boxing?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of myself as a nice person. Obviously, in the ring, you have to do what you have to do. It's a job. It's nothing personal. This is just what we're here to do. You know, and I really learned that from Dan Azeez over the last 18 months, because him and, say, Anthony Yard, they get on really well. They're friends. They train in the same gym, but Anthony had the Commonwealth title at one point. Dan Azeez had the British title, and he's like, "Well, I want the belt, so me and you can fight." And it ain't a thing. It's not like I don't like you. Yeah. Craig Richards, good friend of mine again. You know, he goes, "Yeah, me, Craig can get on." So learning that, it's important for me that people stay safe, because you don't really dislike him. Like after Daryl Church, my last fight, I was talking to him. I get he didn't really want to chat to me because I just beat him. But after I met his girlfriend and his dad was there and I was, you know, make sure he's all right. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity. And, you know, I'm a very, I like to be accommodating and grateful for, you know, even me being here. You know, you could have chose anyone to sit here. You chose me. So I'm very grateful. So I just feel like, you know, it's important that people say that people stay safe. And like I said about you know, Gerald McClellan, it's important that people really understand what it is we're doing and what we're potentially doing to people and what can potentially happen to us.
I think one of the things we see, both related to damage but also retired boxers in general, is once that mission goes, i.e. they're no longer a pro, they lose direction.
Yeah, massively.
So, and I see you're doing things outside of boxing anyway, or inside, outside of boxing, but you got, you're training, PTing. I see, you made me laugh the other day. You said something like, if your PT can't do a muscle up, then sack him.
Yeah, it was a bit more colourful, but yeah.
Is that the sort of things that are going to keep you beyond boxing, just active and sharp?
Yeah, and the most important thing to me that we've not really spoke about is my children. I just want to be the best for them, because here's the thing, I don't know if you guys got kids, but if you decide, or when you decide to have children, everything you do and everything you don't do, they're gonna inherit, positive and negative. I see certain flaws that I have, and I'm like, I'm not giving that to my son. My eldest son is 13. And I say it to my girlfriend now. I say everything that we don't fix about ourselves goes out there. So it's very important to show up and be the best version of yourself, I believe. So yeah.
Are your kids combat sports athletes?
My son is an amazing rugby player. He's just got on the Saints development squad.
Sick.
Damn! Congratulations, man.
So
That's sick. That's big news, man.
Yeah, he's doing.
I don't know which button's right. Yes.
He's
congratulations.
I let him spar probably 2 years ago. I'm a softie. I let him spar, and he's always training me. And watching it, I was like, I haven't got the heart to watch that for the rest of my life. I don't want him to box.
Right.
But luckily, rugby has got pretty much all the same components, like toughness, fitness.
Scary sport, man.
When I'm
tough,
bro. When I'm watching them kids tackle each other, I'm thinking, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, you can punch me in my chest and head all day long, but you can't tackle my legs out like that, man.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
That is different. Briefly, I just wanted to touch on the division that you're in. So you're light heavyweight, super middle. What are your thoughts on the division? I mean, at the top we've got Peterbiev, Bivol. Who do you think wins out of that?
I think it's a brilliant fight. I think skill wise, I think Bivol. But more importantly, I still got to back him because I do know him, even though he stopped following me on Instagram. Anthony Yard. So me and Anthony used to train. Me and Anthony used to train together. So I used to train with Tundi years ago, and I actually said something that I think he probably didn't like, and he doesn't follow me on Instagram anymore. But anyway, I want Anthony to win.
What, against Peterbiev? Yeah,
yes.
That's like 8 days away.
I know.
28th, isn't it?
It's very, very, very massive ask, because I just think that, I want to be honest, I just don't think Anthony's learned the things he needs to know. There's a Jamaican saying called hurry come you, and I feel like he skipped levels, because there's certain things you have to go through as a fighter, and I feel like he's missed a lot of those levels.
Do you know what? I can't help but agree with you, man, because I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen, like, Peterbiev's a different animal. A guy who you can tell does not miss a stone. You know, he doesn't leave any stone unturned. Even to the point where I see him strengthening his wrists and strengthening his hands and all these little details that just make him the animal that he is. Anthony Yard, he's got very, very far on his natural talent, and that's great. That's great. If I'm honest as well, I know you got a relationship with Tunde. I sort of feel like he should have got a different trainer between this fight and his last couple fights, particularly after the Linden fight. But I don't want to diss him.
That's what I said, which made him stop following me on the crap. Because I was like, look, bro, I love you. I got love for you, and I got love for Tunde, but I just feel like you need something else. Yeah, like it's like AJ and Rob McCracken. Like, probably timing was a little bit off, but it was the right thing, really. Like, AJ reached his ceiling with Rob. Yeah. And you have to move on. Like, this is a short career, and you're putting your life on the line, so you want to be at your absolute best. But we'll see. We will see the result, and maybe it will be good to catch up with you in and around that time as well. To see if we can watch it live. Hopefully they can come through. Because the one thing I will say is, as much as I said that, when I look back now, I think, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Because the one thing I get that he's trying to do is the same person that you come up with is the same people that you finish with, and I like that. That is good. That's what I'm saying.
The change is good, though.
Change is good. Change is definitely like.
But it's a hard situation to change. Yeah. That's what it is. How can you tell your trainer, like, yo, I'm going somewhere else?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was with my daddy first of all. My dad, I call him my daddy, but my dad has always trained me. Like I said, my dad will still hold pads for me now. But if I'm honest, I'm glad that I went to Barry O'Connell and all the other people that I've trained with, because
it's knowledge.
I've learned so much more. Because a lot of the stuff, say Tunde, for instance, all the stuff that I learned with Tunde, my dad can't teach me because that's Tundi stuff, but it's relevant. And all this accumulation of knowledge, providing you're not learning from different people at the same time, it's valuable because it's all in me. It's you know, certain things that, like I say, Baz has shown me that I'll use now that I've never learned or seen in the gym that I'm in now. But there's certain things in the gym that I'm in now that Baz didn't show me. So yeah, I just feel like you're right. You know, him leaving and getting new knowledge is only a good thing.
It can't hurt.
Yeah.
And there we have it. Sofa Senseis, been joined by me, Kavan,
Me, Rash,
and Dom Felix. What's your Instagram?
What's my Instagram? Dom Felix Boxer.
Dom Felix Boxer. Make sure you follow him up. He's got some good content if you're interested in keeping fit. I need to learn how he swings that kettlebell around, man, because listen, my kettlebell goes one way, that's it. Anyway, we've been Sofa Senseis on the akhi&saltfish digital network. You can follow us on Instagram at Sofa Senseis or at akhi&saltfish, on Twitter at akhi&saltfish. And if you've got any questions or comments, please do email akhi&saltfish@gmail.com, and would really, really appreciate it if you could share this episode and our other episodes with a friend, because it really helps us grow. One thing to mention as well is we have other shows on the network, such as Before Our Friends Die, if you want to know about life, maybe mental health, maybe Lunar
Buying
New
a
Year,
house, buying a
a
house, yeah.
anything. We've got an episode on that one. And also Cool, Fine, Dumb, Wicked. If you love music, we've got you covered there as well. So thank you very much. Take care and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
respect, bro.